Alright, here's a tutorial for this kind of section flip transition. I don't know what it's called, but it's this one. So this is what the kind of node wall, I don't even know what the node wall looks like. Trust me, it's not as daunting as it looks, but it isn't 3D. It is like a 3D composition. So someone in my last tutorial, they commented, why do I use 3D composition instead of DVE nodes? And my answer to that is using 3D makes me feel cooler. So then I can like show people unnecessarily stupid node trees like this, and it's funny. Also because I never heard of the DVE node before. But alright, let's get the show on the road. Alright, so I have my two clips here. They're both the same length. And then I don't have an audio on this, so this marker here is going to be like my beat, like if I had an audio. So these clips, they're already compounded, but I'm just going to compound them again so they're showing up in like this new folder I made. So then now first part what you want to do is like make the sections. I'm going to make it with like the 4 sections, so I'm going to show the numbers for that. I'll try to explain it, so like if you want a different number of sections you can figure that out. So you want to turn the width up to max, which is 1. And then because I'm having 4 sections, we're going to make the height 0.25. So now it's a quarter. And now we're going to move it down to 0.125 on the Y center. And see, now it's like perfectly flush at the bottom there. And basically the logic behind that is because this piece is a quarter, so then its center is an eighth. So then when 0.125 is an eighth, so then no, it's at the bottom there. And then every time, for every like other section, you're going to move it up by 0.25, so it's going to be 0.75 the next section, and see, and they're going to like line up near perfectly. So that's the first section, and just duplicate it. Just move it up 0.375, another one 0.625, and then the last one Alright, and this last one is 0.825, I think. Wait, 875. There we go. So now all the pieces are like flush there. And then I'm going to compound all these. Just name them however you want. Now I can get rid of these for now. I don't really need them. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Alright, so now bring in a fusion composition. Make it the same length. And you can get rid of the other stuff. So now what you want to do is set up the 3D. And now I'm gonna bring in one of the like uncut the full clip, so I can like kind of like set up where the camera is and stuff. So just bring the camera back a bit, and then you can just adjust this until it like fits the screen perfectly, because there's not gonna be any camera movement, so we wanted to like fit the screen perfectly. Alright, and now we can get rid of this one and bring in the pieces basically. That's the first piece. So now with the first piece, want to add a transform 3D node, and I'm going to rename it because I like renaming them so that when they show up in the spline editor and when there's a bunch of them, it's easy to tell. Like if you have to adjust the graphs, it's easy to tell which one you're editing. So for the keyframes on this piece, what you want to do is center is right about basically about like a third or a fourth, I guess, a third or a fourth keyframe, the Y rotation, then about like a couple frames before the end, keyframe it again, turn it 180 degrees, and then throw a graph like it's markers in the way, throw a graph like maybe this on, something like that, where Yeah, something like that's good, I think. And now what you want to do is bring in the next piece, and which one is it? This one. And just copy this transform, paste it, and now copy the image plane as well, because that one's once the setup is on. And now what you want to do is, let me rename it first. And now with this one, you want to move the first keyframe just like probably 2 keyframes forward. Yeah, two keyframes forward. So now they're kind of offset. And now do the same for the third and fourth, moving them forward 2 frames each time. Alright, so now all 4 of these are done. So if you play through this a bit, playback is super laggy, but we got them all turning like that. So now for the second clip, what you want to do is I'm just going to copy paste all the image plane and transform nodes over to the other side. Just organize these the right way around. And just rename them real quick. Alright, so this doesn't blow up my computer, I'm going to do these one by one. So connect that in there, bring in the second clip's first piece, and there. And now you see they're kind of overlapping. They're like overlapping obviously, so what you want to do is image plane for the first clip, go to visibility, go like frame by frame, and try and find like right where it's like flipping over. So like right here, keyframe visible, go back 1 frame, keyframe it again, and then for the first clip, uncheck the second one. It's the second keyframe visible, so it's not visible on the second one obviously. And then for the second clip, you keyframe the same spots with visibility, and then make it non-visible before. Then it's like it flips over flawlessly. And now basically you just do the same thing for the rest of them. Alright, there we go. Features all crashed, but we're back anyway, and done all those. So now when this flips over, all of them flip over, and now that's basically done. But if you noticed, because it like flips 180 degrees, this clip is actually mirrored from how it's actually supposed to, from how it originally was. So if you don't care about that, you can leave it obviously, but since I do care about that, what I'm going to do is just bring in a transform node here and just flip it, and do that for all of them. And there, that's basically it. It's not basically, that is actually it. Let's see if my computer will allow me to play it. Seems not. There we go. There it is. And you can throw effects on there. Obviously, there's like the little lines. Enough effects can cover those, you know. So it's not that deep. I don't know how to get rid of those. You could like kind of move them around a bit, and then zoom it in a bit more. But I don't really care. Effects can cover that. Like throw a blur in there. Some of the ones that I use on the edit, I think, are like mosaic, blur, and a shake. I think that's actually it. The blur, a glow, mosaic, blur, and shake. That's basically it. So there we go. That's the tutorial. Thank you for watching.